let's call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Kurt Smith is absent. Gustafson.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
J.R. Smith.
Here.
Brabner. Mayor.
I am here. Our invocation and pledge will be led by Councilmember Shane Perry. If you please rise.
Father, thank you for a wonderful day here in Spanish Fort. Thank you for our first responders that they're blessed in every run that they go on. They're protected out in our community. Father, just thank you for them and everything they do for us. Pray for our citizens that they're all safe and healthy, and Father, that we are meeting the needs that they feel the city should meet for them. Father, just thank you for allowing us to be here today and give us a wisdom to make decisions that would make you proud. Father, just thank you for everything you do. In Son's name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Ask for the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, the work session May 6, 2024, and the regular meeting May 6, 2024. Any corrections? Hearing none, they stand approved as written. Committee reports. Ms. Gaines?
Just a reminder that we do have a work session tomorrow night at 4 o'clock to interview junior city council candidates.
Thank you. Mr. Connor?
No further reports, Mayor.
Chief Barber?
No report, Mayor. No report, Mayor.
No report.
Now, if you'd like to discuss anything with the council, now's your opportunity to raise your concerns. So, floor is open. Seeing nobody dashing to the podium, we'll have a few announcements. Congressman Jerry Carl sent out a survey, Spanish Fort residents asking for feedback on our postal service. We do have hard copies here. You can go online and fill those out, send them to Congressman Carl. I will tell you that 2 weeks ago, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, I was up in Washington and did have an opportunity to meet with Congressman Moore to discuss the postal situation. He had had a similar situation in one of his, in the Wiregrass area, and why he was not successful to get them a post office, you know, that was a very small town. I mean, less than a couple of hundred folks. So there is a vast difference between Spanish Fort and a couple of hundred folks. He was able to get the Postal Service to change their zip code to reflect their name. So that's going to be his first step to move forward. Last week I received a call from Congressman Carl, who had a meeting with the Postmaster General, which is highly unusual to meet with the Postmaster General. We tried to do that for a while. We could never get anywhere. Saw a lot of his lieutenants, but the Postmaster General asked Congressman Carl, you know, what he could do to help him, because of course Congressman Carl's on his way out, but he's also still on appropriations, so he still needs their money. The Postmaster General does. So Congressman Carl brought up to him the Spanish Fort situation. So the Postmaster DeVoy, isn't that his name, David? DeVoy? Told Congressman Carl he'll look into that and get back with him. I don't know if there's anything gonna come out of that, but at least we know we've got some ears up there and we're trying to move forward. So give you all an update on that one.
What did you mean when you said the city would match the zip code?
No, you know, when you populate online 36527, now it populates Daphne. What they were able to accomplish in the Wiregrass, when they plugged in that zip code, it named that city as opposed to another city. So I think they call that the city of last record or something along those lines. So what they're trying to change is if you punch online 36527, it will automatically populate Spanish Fort and not Daphne. City of Spanish Fort Public Library will be closed Monday, May 27th to celebrate Memorial Day holiday. And the annual Spring Tidy the City event will be held June 6th through 9th, 2024 at Spirit Park, located directly across the street, Emily Francis Lane. The event provides an opportunity for Spanish Fort residents to tidy the city by bringing out accumulated items and clutter from around the home. 2 dumpsters will be placed in the gravel parking lot at Spirit Park for the collection of unwanted items. Items must be placed inside the dumpster and not in the surrounding area. Items not accepted include household garbage, tires, electrical items, and hazardous chemicals. I do also want to thank Senator Elliott and our legislator, Matt Simpson. We were able to get some things passed through Montgomery in the last week of the session that will allow us to expand at the Eastern Shore Center. So I want to thank them personally. There was quite a battle there for a while when you got into the gambling and everything else that was going on. It was sort of hard to get that wedged in, but we wouldn't have gotten that through without the help of those 2 gentlemen. So I want to publicly thank them for that. Any old business come before the council? There is none. Under new business, we have a proclamation for the week of May 19th, 2025, 19th through the 25th, 2024, as Emergency Medical Services Week in the city of Spanish Fort. I think we have some representatives here. Dwayne Tolis, as a Regional Director of MedStar. Please come forward, sir. Roger. Don't give me a while. I'll get there.
This is a proclamation by the Mayor of the City of Spanish Fort for Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas Emergency Medical Services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of Emergency Medical Services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas Emergency Medical Services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the Emergency Medical Services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of Emergency Medical Services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it's important to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating the Emergency Medical Services Week, now therefore I, Michael M. McMillan, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of Spanish Fort, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19 through 25, 2024, as Emergency Medical Services Week in Spanish Fort, Alabama, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme, Honoring Our Past, Forging Our Future. I encourage citizens, businesses, and the organizations to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, given under my hand and the Great Seal of the City of Spanish Fort, Alabama, on this, the 20th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2024, Michael M. McMillan, Mayor.
We certainly want to thank y'all for what you do on a daily basis. You know, it's part of a group effort, I know, for everybody. Our fire, our police, certainly MedStar is a big part of that, so we thank y'all for your services. Anything you want to add?
No, I would just say, I'm a resident of Spanish Fort. I live in Stonebridge, and I was telling Amy a minute ago, it's the first council meeting I've been to. But great working relationship with the fire department. We certainly appreciate that and appreciate the relationships we have, and look forward to continuing to provide y'all service for a long period of time. So thank you for doing this. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Don't be a stranger.
Yes, sir.
Reviso Group, Carly Cordy. If you'll please come forward and present our audits. This is for last fiscal year, which ended the end of September, whenever that was.
September 30th, 2023. I meant to say earlier, thank y'all again for letting us do the audit. We enjoy working with Mayor McMillan, Becky, Kim, and Nita. I am here with Earl Blackman and Rachel Young. Rachel Young is now the CEO of Aviso and the engagement shareholder for Spanish Fort, since Dennis has officially retired. I can just go over each one? Okay, so Highway 181, y'all received an unmodified opinion, and there were no issues or findings. Do y'all have any questions about 181?
Any questions from the council? I know we covered this a little bit in the work session, but everybody's got a little homework to do. You can look at these. If you have any further questions, it'll be on the agenda for the next meeting. Any other questions for 181?
Okay.
Fine.
And then Highway 98, also unmodified opinion, and we had no findings or issues.
Any questions for Carly on 98? All right.
And finally, the city also had an unmodified opinion and also had no findings or issues.
Those are all good things. I want to commend, of course, staff for all their work in putting this together. Becky, Nita, Kim, thank you all. And of course, Carly, thank you. And Rachel and Earl, thank y'all for what y'all do for us. Been partners for a long time. I bet you it's 30 years or better, right? I'm not quite sure. Of course, the city's only 31 years old, so we didn't have much audit the first year. But we've made some inroads. Very proud about where we are. Council, thank y'all for your efforts. Because of your efforts, we've been able to, I think, do a fairly good job of managing our money. We don't spend money we don't have. Now, we may invest some of the money we have, which is what we have done in numerous occasions. And of course, the next year will be an exciting one for us with all the projects that we've got going on in our city, in addition to park renovations and fire departments and dog parks and parks with waterfront access, those kind of things, in addition to normally the drainage projects that we've got going on, repaving. I think we probably do a pretty fair job of making our money go a long way, but more importantly, we don't spend money we don't have. So I'm very proud of that. We will have a little long-term debt now that we've decided to take on because we need to catch up on our infrastructure with fire departments and training centers and parks and those kind of things. But I think it's an investment that the council wisely chose to move forward with. Any discussion from the council? Becky, any comments? Thank you, Carly. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Mayor, you do need to announce we'll have public hearings on each of those audits at the next meeting.
I'd like to announce the public hearing to be held Monday, June 3rd, 2024, meeting to hear comments in favor of or in opposition to the audits. I'd like to present ordinance number 666, 2024, an ordinance adopting Baldwin County 911 GIS addressing office street name standards and addressing standards within the city of Spanish Fort, Alabama. Mr. Connor.
Mayor, the city has reached an agreement with Baldwin County 911 to provide addressing and street naming services for the city. This ordinance will adopt the addressing standards and street name standards employed by Baldwin County 911 on behalf of the city of Spanish Fort. They are attached as exhibits to this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Discussion from the council? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 666-2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brabner, Mayor.
Yes, the ordinance is adopted. I'd like to present ordinance number 667, 2024, an ordinance levying a business license fee and fixing the annual rate of business and privilege license in the city of Spanish Fort. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, the city of Spanish Fort is either one of two or the last city in Alabama to have a flat fee license for operation of business and provision of services in the city. All the other cities in the state have gross receipts licensing. This ordinance will bring the city of Spanish Fort on parity with gross receipts licensing for businesses and services offered to the residents in the corporate limits of the city. It establishes gross receipts licensing and will be for the 2025 year, beginning in January and each year thereafter. It sets forth the license terms. It sets forth the license fees for a full year, half year. It sets forth annual renewals as well as the issuance cost and establishment assessment procedures in the event someone does not file, as well as appeals processes. Section 21 and 22 22 sets up the license provisions and the limitations set forth by the Code of Alabama. And then Section 23 has the license codes and percentages of gross receipts that are applicable, as well as license schedules based on the amount of sales or revenue generated as part of the gross receipts calculation.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Discussion from the council? As Mr. Connor mentioned, if we're not the only one left, there's only one other one. I've always heard that was in the Wiregrass area somewhere. I don't have a clue where, but, you know, flat license fee is not practical. It's not going to affect the small businesses dramatically at all. It's going to keep their rates pretty competitive where they are now. It will affect the bigger businesses within our city. Their license fees will go up. We will be sending out a notice as soon as this passes. We'll start working with our providers to get everything set up, and we'll send out a notice to all the business owners in the city, letting them know of a change in their fees for the next year. It probably wouldn't tell them initially how much it would be. That would be determined later. But if we can get that, we will do that certainly as promptly as we can. So this is long overdue. I think we all been expecting this. You know, we kept flat fees hoping it would promote business growth within our city, but I don't see where it's really done a thing to promote that at all. And that was our thought process. At least that was thought process from 1993 forward. So any other discussion on this item? We will have a public hearing on this item tonight. So if you're here to speak on this item, please give us your name and address. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 667-2024.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brabner, Mayor.
Yes, the ordinance is adopted. I'd like to present ordinance number 668, 2024, an ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise to Mediacom Southeast LLC for the purpose of maintaining distribution lines for provision of cable television within the public right-of-ways within the city of Spanish Fort. We have a public hearing scheduled for this tonight. We're going to hold this item over, but we will go ahead and have the public hearing since it was advertised. Is that correct, Mr. Connor?
Yes. Mayor, this is a proposed ordinance authorizing the extension, basically, of the existing franchise with new franchise terms for Mediacom. They've been providing service in the city for some time and actually took over the original service providers when the city was incorporated. And they've asked for a 15-year franchise, and this is the ordinance that they have proposed. We'll be in discussion with them regarding some revisions that are necessary. But this would allow the public to know that this is coming and offer an opportunity now and probably at a subsequent meeting for any public input.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council? I'll open up the public hearing. If you're here to discuss this item, please give us your name and address. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is now closed. As I mentioned, this will be on hold. Will be on your June 3rd agenda. Moving to ordinance number 669, 2024, an ordinance establishing the rules for Loyalty Park in the city of Spanish Fort, Alabama. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this ordinance will establish rules for Loyalty Park, which is going to be the new dog park in the corporate limits of the city of Spanish Fort. The Planning Commission has forwarded a positive recommendation for the site plan, and so that project will be proceeding. These general rules in Section A are very similar to the rules for Spirit Park and Integrity Park, with the exception of no pets are allowed at Spirit Park and Integrity Park, so that has been removed here in favor of the dog park. And then Section B has dog park specific rules as it relates to how dogs are handled, who can come and be with them, the types of treats and different things that they can use safely and effectively at the site of the park.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Discussion from the council? This is a project that our junior council has worked on for a while, and we've been talking about this for, I don't know, several years. We probably, David, I'm gonna say we've been talking about a dog park for the better part of 5 or 6 years, more than likely, but with coming, this is one of those projects that I mentioned during this, the audit statements about a lot of projects coming forward at us now. This is one of those that we are proud to get going. It was approved by the Planning Commission to move their recommendation to the council to move that forward. So we need to establish the rules to move this project forward. Any other discussion on this item? It's being introduced tonight. Will be on your June 3rd agenda. I'd like to introduce ordinance number 670, 2024. An ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise to Comcast Alabama LLC for the purposes of maintaining distribution lines for the provision of cable television within the public right-of-ways within the city of Spanish Fort, Alabama. This also is being put on hold tonight. Will be on your June 3rd agenda, and we will have a public hearing. Mr. Connor, any further comments?
No further comments, Mayor.
Any discussion from the council? Hearing none, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 671, 2024, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5196 of the city of Spanish Fort, establishing zoning classification of certain property as B2, local business district. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, the developers of the Long Leaf Golf Course up on 225 have approached the city about annexing that property in to the corporate limits of the city. It's approximately 1,600 acres. It's partially developed at this point in time, but they have a development plan that they are going to be submitting to the city. As part of that annexation, they also own some property south of White House Fork Road that they are requesting also be annexed into the corporate limits of the city, but they want to have it pre-zoned prior to annexation to B2 local business district. The Planning Commission held a public hearing at last Monday night's meeting and forwards a positive recommendation for the pre-zoning of this property to B2 local business district. If and when the city council ultimately annexes the property into the corporate limits of the city, either all or a portion of it, it would automatically be zoned B2 if you all approve of the rezoning or the pre-zoning request.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Discussion from the council? I'd like to announce we'll have a public hearing at the June 3rd meeting. Do you hear any comments in favor of and opposition of the proposed ordinance? I'd like to introduce Resolution 1409, 2024, a resolution amending the personnel manual of the city of Spanish Fort. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this resolution will amend Section 16 Benefits F, Automobile Usage, Paragraph 2, to allow for appointed positions to have residences more than 30 miles from the corporate limits of the city. If the mayor determines it is in the best interest of the city to do so. City-owned vehicles are allowed to be used for trips to and from work, but not for personal purposes. And if they are assigned to employees, general employees, it is for no more than 30 miles. This would allow some flexibility as it relates to appointed positions, in particular appointed positions who are on call 24 hours a day, and would allow them to live a little further than 30 miles away if the mayor determines it's in the best interest of the city.
David, I got something that just hit me on this one. I know we had a conversation with the accountants, and there may be some repercussions with this for tax reasons that maybe an employee may be subject to.
Well, Councilmember Brabner, sorry.
Yeah. I'm wondering if, I don't want to see unnecessary exposure for an employee financially if it's just because we wording this 30 miles. It's not, and that's what I'm asking, I guess, as much as anything. I'm trying to figure out.
I hear what you're saying. Under that scenario, if there's no rush tonight to do
It's
this,
being introduced tonight.
then let's follow up with the county. I hear what you're saying. Let's do follow up with the county to see if that makes a difference.
The accountants and I had already discussed, Mayor, between work session, and I will be following up with them.
Well, it's being introduced tonight, but let's have further discussion. I don't want to put an undue hardship on an employee if it is because of the way we're wording something, if that makes sense. Okay? Any further discussion on this item? As I mentioned, this is being introduced tonight and will be on your June 3rd agenda. I'd like to introduce Resolution 1410, 2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for services between the City of Spanish Fort and Unity Fiber. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed agreement to be executed between the city and Unity Fiber to provide internet fiber optic lines from Spanish Fort Police Department to the Fairhope Police Department to communicate with Baldwin County 911. A copy of the proposal is attached, and it is for also to provide service at $445 a month for a term of 36 months.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Discussion from the council. This also will be on your June 3rd agenda. I'd like to introduce Resolution 1411, 2024, a resolution amending the personnel manual of the City of Spanish Fort, Alabama. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed resolution that would amend the personnel manual, Section 9, Discipline and Discharge D, Section D, Procedures, as it relates to the notices that are given for pre-disciplinary hearings or other hearings. Paragraph 10 would require the employee to provide valid emailing address and physical address, telephone number, in order to be able to receive personal service or by mail, United States mail. If the city is unable to locate the employee, then they'll be allowed to use the last known email or text message address. Section 11 states that an employee who fails to be on time or attend a pre-disciplinary hearing, full disciplinary hearing, or appeal of a disciplinary matter to the city council, their failure to appear will result in a waiver of their right to that appeal or future hearing or appeal. And then we'd also amend Section 6 that states that if the mayor approves a disciplinary action after the pre-disciplinary meeting, the employee would have 3 working days to request a full disciplinary hearing, which would be set at that point in time. It also authorizes the mayor to grant or approve postponements of that full disciplinary hearing if deemed necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Discussion from the council? This also will be on your June 3rd agenda. I'd like to present Resolution 1412, 2024, a resolution in support of the mega grant application to assist in funding the I-10 Mobile River Bridge and Bayway project.
Mayor, this is a proposed resolution in support of the mega grant application to assist in the funding of the I-10 Mobile River Bridge and Bayway project. This will be submitted to the United States Department of Transportation as part of the application submitted by the Alabama Department of Transportation for that funding through the mega grant program. Attached as Exhibit 1 is a proposed letter to be executed by the mayor to Secretary Pete Buttigieg of the United States Department of Transportation. This would express and set forth the City Council's desire and support for the mega grant application.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council? Do I have a motion to adopt?
I can make a motion we adopt Resolution 1412, 2024.
Second.
Any Discussion. Roll call, please.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brabner, Mayor.
Yes, the resolution is adopted. We have a request for a 020 restaurant retail liquor license, Nurco LLC, doing business as The Bull, 3500 State Highway 181, Suite 134, Spanish Fort, Alabama 36527. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed restaurant retail liquor license to be located at the Eastern Shore Center at 30500 State Highway 181 in Suite 134. Originally, we had an application filed by the Voodoo Brewing Company. It's our understanding that this is a new trade name that will be used instead of Voodoo Brewing Company for this site. It'll be called The Bull, and the applicant is Nurco LLC. The application appears to be in order.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the request for the 020 restaurant retail liquor license for Nurco.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
J.R. Smith,
Yes.
Brabner, Mayor.
Approved. Any other business come before the council tonight? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.